guys. So in this particular session, we are talking about indices. Okay, so before we talk about indices or before we solve the problems, we need to know the laws as well. Okay, so what is product law? So in product law, what happens is that if the power of same base is the base should be same, the power can be added up. Okay, that's pretty much it. So this is the base for power m, right? So in this case, what we can do is, as per product law, what it says is that the x should not be equals to 0, it should be greater than 0, right? And then it can be added up, the power can be added up. Okay, so that's your product law. Okay, so in division law, what it says is that basically if something number is divided by something, so what we can basically do is the power can be subtracted. Okay, but the base should be same. So if the base is x and the number which is dividing it by, right, so denominator is your this number, or with the same base and then the power is different, we can subtract it. Okay, so that's according to division law. So in third case, we have power law. So in power law, what we basically do is that basically the base has some power, and then it has even more power on top of it. Okay, so what we do is we can multiply these two. Okay, so suppose x is the base, your y is your power, and then a is your whole power upon that. Okay, so we can write it as x y a. Okay, so similarly as x and n in this case. Okay, so if whole and then if you've got a fraction within the bracket, that means the power belongs to both of them. Okay, so it will be for both of them, as you can see over here as well. In case of a as well, the power is m, the b as well, the power is n, right? So similarly, in case of multiplication, if there is a multiplying number between the powers, so what we do is basically we assign powers to both of them. Okay, so both of them will have m as well. Okay, so am into bm. Okay, so it will have an exponent of m. Okay, so if we have x minus m, so x minus m or x minus y in power form. Okay, so we can express it in this term as well, base, and then we put it in the form of fraction. Okay, we can write it in the form of fraction, right? So similarly, if it is within a square root, what we can do is basically we can write it in this form, right? As you have already learned this thing from earlier classes as well. So in this case, what we can basically do is, so similarly, if the number or the radicand within the thing can have any kind of square root, what we can do is we can square it, or we can write an exponent towards it, and then after that we can multiply or divide it by the square roots order. Okay, so similarly, if a to the power 0 or x to the power 0, m to the power 0 is equals to always 1. Okay, this is our rule for solving any indices related problems. Okay, so have a look at it. Seems pretty easy, right? So in case if it is multiplication, you add it. If it is subtraction, when will it be subtracted? Basically the power is when there is a division, right? In case of power law, what happens is basically we multiply it. The powers get multiplied, and then if there is a fraction within a power, then that belongs to both of them. Okay, always remember that. So similarly, in case of if the power is in minus, we can write it in the form of base to the power fraction. Okay, so similarly, if there is a square root, we can write it. We can write the base, and then in the form of power, we can write it in the form of fraction, and which is divided by your order. Okay, in this case, m is your order, right? Similarly, in this case, what we can do is the number or the radicand within the square root is also given an exponent, and then based on that, it is divided by your order. Okay, so if a to the power or a exponent 0 or b exponent 0, right? So anything which has a power of 0 will always be 1, right? So this is how we basically solve this kind of problem. If you have any doubts regarding this particular session, please do comment down below. I'll definitely be happy to answer it for you. Until next time, bye bye.